Hi parents, it's Ellen Berg, and I am here to talk to you about homework. Last spring, we sent out a survey to parents asking them a lot of questions, and to allow all of you who gave us feedback, we really appreciate that as a middle school team. One of the pieces that has come up again and again is this notion of homework. And I think that as a school, we've always said, oh, well, we don't assign homework. But the more that I've thought about it, the more I realize that we are not really giving you a clear and accurate picture. Our middle school absolutely does assign homework, and I am going to speak about the humanities portion of things today. And specifically, I want to talk about reading and why that independent reading time every day is so crucial, and why it actually is meaningful homework that will help you realize all the dreams and goals you have for your child's academic future and long-term success. I think there are two reasons sometimes that parents don't perceive that nightly reading as homework. The first reason is that if reading is a pleasurable activity, if your child enjoys it and is already doing it, there's this thought that, oh, if they like it, it can't possibly really be academically oriented. But the truth is that it does serve a lot of purposes, and we'll talk about that more. I actually had a parent many years ago tell me that his child liked reading too much, and that he wanted her to be crying at the table every night from the homework that she had. It's an interesting perspective. The second reason that I think parents oftentimes say that they don't perceive that nightly reading is actually homework is because they don't want to fight the fight. Right? It is easy to fight the fight. You have to do this page, these questions, this worksheet. It's tangible, it's visible, it's something that you can say, yes, it's done, no, it's not. And it's a hard place for students to argue, right? Seems really black and white and cut and dried. So neither one of those are good reasons to skip reading. So I'm here to build my case of this is why we assign that nightly reading 7 days a week, at least 20 minutes. I would be much happier with 30, but 20 minutes is still going to elicit a lot of benefits, according to the statistics. So let me share a few reasons. A 1988 study of the out-of-school activities of fifth graders by Anderson, Wilson, and Fielding found that time spent reading books was the best predictor of a student's reading proficiency. So I've talked to my parents a lot, goal-setting conferences, and I'm very direct with kids. It's like the best way to improve your reading is to read more. We get better at what we practice. I have gotten better at putting IKEA furniture together because, my God, I have put together so much IKEA furniture since I've moved to San Diego. It wasn't a worksheet, it wasn't anything, but the actual act of doing it. So that practice really does make perfect. Second piece that I'd like to share with you is that the amount of free reading consistently relates to growth in vocabulary, reading comprehension, verbal fluency, and general information. So it's not just in reading, but also in knowledge about the world, content knowledge. Students become better readers. They score higher on achievement tests in all subject areas, not just in reading and language arts. And they have greater content knowledge than those who don't read. So there's a clear benefit to kids who read over those who do not. The next one is about that, what they call light reading. And I think sometimes adults, we call it that fluffy reading. For me, it's my candy reading, that one that I know I can sit on the beach. I don't have to pay a lot of attention to. The character's going to be pretty flat or whatever. Or it's going to be easy for me in some way. I know a lot of parents are pro reading, but they want their child reading those classics. Let's read the hard things. Why are we reading Harry Potter? Why the Hunger Games? Why this romance novel by Sarah Dessen? And And really, it does serve a purpose. And the way I look at it is, the way I've always talked about it is, a child who has a gateway book and has a positive experience with a book is going to be more willing to pick up another book. And at some point, they're going to be like the kid that I had when I taught in St. Louis, who read all of the Goosebumps books, like devoured them. He looked at me one day and said, "Miss Berg, do you have something else? All these books are pretty much the same." And that's, that's when Ms. Berg won. And when the child won, we were able to go off into some more complex horror books because he was ready for that. But that light reading, that daily practice, was something that we may not wish for them to read, like Twilight. I understand why it was a big hit, but it's not the most complex story in the world. It builds fluency. It builds students' understanding and experience with a variety of story structures so they can predict more easily. And it increases their awareness of literary devices. And this paves the way for more complex texts. So, and that increased fluency, that ability to read quickly and understand, comprehend what they're reading, that's a necessary piece before a child becomes an avid reader and before a child is ready for that more complex text. So don't worry if your child's reading something that you're like, I don't know about that. It doesn't seem that complex. It seems a little silly. It actually is serving a purpose, just as rereading a text serves a purpose. Reading also helps you build empathy and understanding of yourself, of others in your world. You are able to sort of peek into the lives of other people who may or may not be like you. You get to see how they solve problems. And it allows you to understand the ways people act that might be different from the way that you or your family will act. So it's a good awareness building task. So this last one that I want to share with you, it kind of blew me away. So there was this study that they did, and just looking at average sixth graders, and looked at the difference between students who read 20 minutes a day, students who read 5 minutes a day, and students who read 1 minute. There's basically nothing a day, just school days. So they average 180-day school year. If your student reads 20 minutes a day every single school day, 180 days of the year, and like I said, I want them doing it 7 days a week and all through the summer, but that 20 minutes a day equates to 3,600 minutes a school year and 1,800,000 words. That's a lot of vocabulary. That's a lot of words and a lot of language experience. The child who reads 5 minutes a day, 180 days a year, only reads 900 minutes as opposed to that 3,600 minutes, and only 282,000 words. Now, the poor baby who's only reading 1 minute, and he's probably really not reading very much, that only equates to 180 minutes and 8,000 words. So, I want us all to be on the same page here. I want you to understand that reading homework, that expectation that children read every night, that's not a throwaway for me. That's not just a way to avoid one more thing to look at or to grade or whatever. I mean, we're doing a lot, and if I felt like worksheets were going to actually elicit the kinds of results that I would like to see in your children, then we'd break out those worksheets and I'd find a way and clone myself, maybe. But it just doesn't. That daily reading is the most important thing that your child can do. So I hope I made my case. If you have questions, I'm happy to chat with you, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.